What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel Panthers Advice. Today we're talking about Mr. Legette, first round pick this year. The drops. Why do the drops keep happening? Now, I think I figured it out, but I don't want to tell you quite yet because then, well, the video would be 30 seconds long. So we're going to take a quick journey down XL's career from college to his catches to the drops, and then I think you're going to come to the same conclusion that I did, that the drops aren't as big as a problem as you might think. Let's dive into the film room, shall we? So the first thing I want to look at is college, right? In college, did he use his hands? Right? Did he make catches with his hands? I mean, you tell me. Take a look right here. And the two plays before that too. Take a look at these. Bang. Right there, goes up and gets it at the high point. Now, the next play we're going to look at right here doesn't use his hands, and you're actually going to want to remember that play right there. But let's keep it going right there. You see him use his hands once again. Okay, so the hands aren't a problem. I repeat, the hands are not a problem. Let's jump back into the film. So what we're going to look at now is XL's biggest plays this season. So I went to the film room, found all of his biggest plays this year, and there's going to be something kind of in common with these. So I just want you guys to take a look right there. You saw him on that option out in the middle, right there. Nice little out route. I believe this was 6 right here across the middle as well. Let's take a look. Andy Dalton against the Bengals. Okay. So far what we've seen is across the middle and then essentially a deep out. That's not the deepest out right there, but that's what we've seen so far from him, right? Once again, that's probably more of a corner route than it is a deep out right there, but what you're seeing is across the middle or the deep out. Let's keep it going. And then the last play we're going to look at right here, once again, basically a crosser, and all a crosser is just a deep drag. A drag route's what, like maybe 1-2 steps and you're running straight across the field. A crosser, you're kind of gradually rounding that curve, right? Drag route, basically running straight down. So you saw what XL's biggest plays are. I went to the film room, I grabbed all the biggest plays, and this is what came across. I didn't hold anything back. Deep outs and crossers and drags, all right? So across the middle and then deep outs. And there's a reason for that, but we're not going to get to that quite yet. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the drops. Just stay with me. Stay with me for about 30 more seconds. I want you guys to see if you guys can find a pattern. I found all the drops that were pretty much on him, give or take. Let's take a look right here. I'm pretty sure all these drops were on him. And there's actually a pattern if you look closely. All right? There's a pattern. There's a couple ones that are kind of, they belong, but they don't fit the pattern or narrative I'm pushing, right? But there's a pattern in these drops that you're going to see. So I'm sure you guys all remember these drops right here. And then obviously this one is still fresh in our head. Now this one doesn't really fit. It's more of an anomaly, right? Big word right there. But that one doesn't fit. And then there's a couple plays like this we have to talk about. Because these were two big plays that should have been his. That first one against the Saints where he gets picked off on Bryce, right? Not really Bryce's fault. And then this one against the Chiefs right here, to me, he's got to bring this one down right here, right? DB knocks it out. Good play by the DB. But XL can make that catch. He's a physical guy. Now, you're like, okay, bro, it's been 4 or 5 minutes. Please tell us what you think. All right, I guess it's time. Let's take a look real quick. So before we jump into the film real quick, just want to say thank you guys for your support. 3,000 subs. I definitely appreciate the support every single video, guys. Much appreciated. But back to the video. So to understand the drops, we have to understand the positives versus the negatives. And the positives are this, right? All his big plays that we saw, just routes across the middle, right? And then you saw the deep outs. Okay, so let's break down the deep outs. Why are those successful? Well, that can actually be explained by just looking at the college tape. What you're going to see right here is XL jumping and go getting it at the high point. Right there across the middle, something we talked about. Once again, this is across the middle, but look, he's going to go get it at the high point. And that's something I keep telling you guys about, right? This is what he excels at, is that right there. Drag routes across the middle, and then going and getting it at the high point. Now, look at these drops real quick, okay? First play we're going to look at right here, probably an option route where he sits right here, depending on how the DB plays it, If the DB plays flat, bang, he might go over the top. But as you're going to see, he's going to sit right there, just a 5-yard hitch essentially. He's sitting there waiting on it. He drops it. Now remember what I said. He's sitting there waiting on it, and he drops it. Let's take a look at play number 2 right here. Play number 2 we're going to look at right here. And before I go into this, remember what I said. These were all the drops that I felt like were his fault, okay? So play number 2 right here. Take a look what happens. Once again, essentially a 5-yard hitch. He's sitting there waiting on it, and he drops it, right? One more time. Take a look right here. 5 yards, bang, drops it. The next play we're going to look at right here, it's kind of an anomaly, but it's not at the same time. And what I mean by that is we talked about his strengths, right? His strengths were high point, and then the drag and crosses across the middle where he could just basically catch it inside the pocket right here and keep running. As you saw right here, this ball was kind of thrown out in front of him, kind of similar to the play we saw last week. Did he have to dive for it? Did he not have to dive for it? You know, you guys can have that debate. But this is very similar to that play. Let's keep it going. Next play we're going to look at with the Giants right here. Take a look what happens. Sitting there waiting on it, he drops it. All right, one more time just so you guys can look. He's not waiting on it as long. Honestly, it's a pretty good throw from Bryce. But take a look. This time, he's worried about the defender behind him, right? Catching it, trying to bring it in, and then start running. Let's take a look at the next one. Next play right here against the Eagles, take a look what happens. All right, once again, sitting there waiting on it. Now, it's not as dramatic as the first few, but it still applies right here. You see the problem with Excel. When he has to sit there and wait on the ball, these are when the drops happen. And then the last play we're going to look at right here is against the Eagles, okay? We all remember this play. And once again, it seems like he struggles the most when the ball's out in front of him. Now, I'm not saying X can't catch when the ball's out in front of him, but that's where he struggles the most. Because as you saw in the highlights, right? The highlights were all about going and getting it at the high point or the crosser routes. And that all goes down to timing, right? Because if he has good time with his quarterback, he runs a crosser, bang, QB hits him in stride. He can catch it right here, bang, and keep running. Matter of fact, 1 second real quick. And what I mean by that is when the quarterback's throwing it, he can catch it right here, right? And then bang, he can keep running with the ball, right? The high point, he can locate the ball, then go get it with his hands. So those are his strong suits. And then you saw his weaknesses, right? His weakness was basically him sitting there waiting on the ball to come to him. And so, you know, some people have said, is it his hands? Like, does he need to hit the jugs machine? Like, what's going on? To me, it's none of that, right? You just got to keep putting him in those situations, in that 5-yard hitch. Tell him to use his hands. You guys saw his hands. He has hands. The good thing is, there's a problem, but it's the same problem every single time. It's not like he's dropping these high point balls on the way down. No, he's going and getting those. He's catching the crosser routes, the drag routes. As you guys saw, the common theme right here is where he runs a 5-yard hitch. It could be a curl, a hook route, whatever it is. If he has to sit there and wait on it, I think it's a mental thing with him. If he can beat that, whoo, XL is going to be cooking. I have faith in my guy. Don't give up on him yet, guys, all right? That's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Panthers Advice is out. Take it easy. I'll catch you guys on the next one.